Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. I still have no idea why that intro stops real quick, and then I have to start it again, and then it works. I've clicked on it several different ways, and it starts, and it just immediately stops. And it's like, why does it do that? I don't know. It's just, I think it's only because it knows it gets to me. Hope you all doing well and getting ready for this crazy weather that's coming, supposedly, according to Sue, which I'm just using her as my weatherman. I don't know. I really don't know anything about it. But I went out in the cold this morning, and the wind was blowing, and it was cold in that wind. I mean, I don't know what the actual wind mile per hour was, but I'm guessing roughly 15, 20, but it just was constant. And man, it was cold in that wind. Let's see here. I got to find my notes. And that was I clicked on the wrong thing there. Let me get this thing, make it stay on the top here. It's supposed to stay on the top anyway, but I don't know. Okay, so yesterday afternoon, where I left off was I went to town and shipped the package for Cometa Systems. On my way back, the most pleasant experience. I got to drive over our overpass over Highway 44. It's been closed since September. And so 4 months roughly, we'd have to go past there and go another roughly 3.5 miles west of here, and then go over that overpass and turn around and come back to our exit, because they've been working on our overpass since that time, since September. Been a major pain in the you-know-where. And, it was just wonderful to be able to just get off at our exit and come across the overpass. I don't know if it was worth it or not, but I guess so, if it doesn't fall down now. I did after I got back, I got the tracks on the Bobcat and got it pulled into the shop. And then I spent, for sure, well over an hour just looking for a place to connect that plug. Didn't find it. I mean, had all kinds of lights and mirrors. I laid a board on there so I could lay down across the top, and still didn't find it. Just, I'm looking everywhere. And I mean, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Either I'm completely blind and it's right there in the open and I just don't see it, or they found a way to hide that sucker. Man, I can't find it at all. So that was disappointing. But we did have the play along last night, and I think that went fairly well. So here's what I did this morning.
I can tell you for certain, I underestimated the size of that tree. Oh my gosh, that thing's huge. I'm pretty good at sawing these great big trees, but this sucker's tough. And it's even hard to get the saw lined up from one side to the other. You can see that I missed the curve because it's on a hillside, everything. There's just a billion reasons. And the saw blade will only reach about 2/3 of the way through, and it's really difficult. So this last one, you can see that they didn't line up either down here, and the weight of the log pinched back, which is unusual on a hillside this steep. You'd think it'd fall down, but it pinched back, and I just gave up on it. I'm tired. This is way harder work than it looks like. These are big, man. I'm telling you, they're big. Very difficult to split. I really am gonna miss the Bobcat and the splitter right now. Although theoretically, I could probably figure out a way to make that work to split these, and I may have to, because these suckers are big. I mean, huge. That last white oak log, that's still probably 14 feet long, I'm guessing. And I don't know, maybe I'll check with the sawmill and see if they want to pay for that, but I doubt they will. The sawmills, they get so many logs around here, they don't care. Plus, a log like this, being close to the house, they don't like them anyway because it may have nails in it, you know. So anyway, it's is what it is. I know it's freezing cold out here. I didn't bother taking off my sweatshirt, even though I am sweating. I knew I'd freeze to death if I took my sweatshirt off today. It's really cold out here. The wind's blowing really hard. So that's going to be it for now.
Yep. And for what it's worth, that log is way too big to saw in my sawmill. It's just too big. My sawmill could handle, I mean, size-wise, I don't know, maybe a 3-foot log. And the problem is it's just too heavy. Even a 3-foot log is too heavy for my sawmill. I don't really feel comfortable putting anything bigger than about a 2-foot log on my sawmill. And trust me, a 2-foot white oak log is heavy. It's really heavy. Even if I could take that log that's left to the sawmill, I don't know how I would load it. I don't think my Bobcat can pick it up. It's that heavy. I don't know. My Bobcat's really strong, and it might be able to pick that up, but I'm not sure that it could. Yeah, it's just the camera just doesn't do it justice. Just like the camera does not do justice to that hill. I put it on the screen. Some of you read those things, some of you don't. But that very first piece I cut off, it fell down the hill about 10, 15 feet. It didn't roll down the hill. It fell and bounced down the hill. That's how steep the hill is, you know. And then the rest of them, the next one fell flat and it didn't roll, and so the rest of them piled up against that. It's really steep. It just doesn't look like it. It makes it so much harder to try to work up there and cut and stuff. Let's see. Bill Webb's up there at the top on my list here. I don't know if he's the top on yours, but it says, good afternoon. Joe Cool there. You never know when things might change, he says. Boy, that's for sure. Wayne Blitz says, good afternoon. Hope all's good. Keep safe and warm. And David says, greetings all. Enjoyed the play along last night. Well, thanks. I think I'm going to try to have a theme for most of my play alongs, at least for a while. I think the next one I'm going to do old time country on the next one. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Gino Hitch says, hey, David, where are you located? He's down in Poplar Bluff, I think. Yep, and that's what he says. And then let's see. David Tharp says, breaking news, due to the extreme cold, Walmart is urging its customers to wear 2 pairs of pajamas when coming to shop. That's not a bad idea, even in non-urgent times. Let's see. Dottie says, hello, everyone, and she's praying for us. Well, Dottie, I'll tell you what, I wish you all were here, all of you, so y'all could hear these wonderful crickets. It's so nice to be out in nature and hear all these crickets. It's so loud, it's ridiculous. It just doesn't quit. It just doesn't quit. It's getting to the point where it's really annoying. Next Friday, I have a doctor's appointment, so maybe next Friday I'll get something done about it, hopefully. But if he's like the people at Bobcat, no, we can't do nothing about that. We can't help you. Let's see. But well, I'll get to the comment in a minute. I saw somebody made a comment or two about the Bobcat. I'll just wait till I get to those. Dottie says she's in the infusion chair. Ew. I don't really know what that is exactly, but I kind of think I know what an infusion is. My goodness. Gino Hitch, hi, Jerry and friends. Hope everyone is getting ready for the bad weather. I stocked up on groceries. Were you able to find the electrical plug? No, I sure didn't. I wish I could. Kim Z from Arizona. C. Wilczek says, good afternoon, Rosa fans. Ronald Todd is praying for Dottie there, and I have been too. Bill Mumbo, hi, you folks. Bruce Ducker, not gloating, but greetings from warm, spring-like Central Florida. Of course, that'll all change come Monday. Let's see. But I bet it won't change like it's going to change up here. Let's see. Ronald Todd says, video and audio are good today. Well, that's good. Bill Mumbo, thumbs up, please, peeps. Yeah, if you would, please click that thumbs up. That sure does help. Randy Rogers says, greetings from Central Oklahoma, where everyone is hunkered down waiting for the winter weather. Yeah, I wonder if we're actually going to get it now that it's been hyped up so big. Hugh O'Connor says, don't you suppose you'd be interested, but don't suppose you'd be interested, but various manuals are available from Bobcat. Some might be available free online. Well, I actually do have about 800 or more. I don't even know how many pages. It's 800 to 900 pages, I'm pretty sure, of a manual for this specific Bobcat. And that's where I found the wiring diagram, but that didn't help. So maybe I haven't gone through obviously I haven't gone through that whole manual. Maybe I could find, maybe they'll have a photo somewhere that'll show it. But so far I haven't seen anything like that. But it's an actual manual, of course, put out by Bobcat. I'm sure I had to pay for it, but it's an online manual also. Bill Mumbo, Jerry, if you're looking for notes, I have a spare G sharp I could send you. Don't mention it. When I was looking for my note there, I guess. Let's see. Michael 2X says, hey, Rosemeister. C. Wilczek says, Jerry, on the Bobcat, is there a backup beeper? Maybe that's wires are going to that. Well, if there is a backup beeper, I have never heard it. I don't think there is on this. It's about I think it's a 2013. I'm not really sure about what year it is. I bought it in 2019. I think it's a 2013. David Tharp says, my crickets play a shrieking violin all the time. I'm seriously telling you, they're so loud, it's starting to be real annoying. It just never quits. I mean, sometimes I can put it out of my mind, and I don't even notice it. Often when I'm watching like YouTube videos, I can put it out of my mind and I don't notice it. But sometimes I can't even get it out of my mind when I'm doing that. Speaking of watching YouTube videos, some of you, I think, probably watch Farmcraft. Have you seen the trouble this guy's having getting power out of his generator? And he has a huge flow because he's coming right out of his lake and dropping about 20 feet down with at least a 6-inch pipe. I think it might be 8-inch. I'm not really sure, but it's a big pipe. I'm sure it's at least 6 inches. And with that much flow, he's having trouble generating power. So with my little trickle turner up there, my little water wheel, there's not much chance of getting any power out of that. But I'm still going to hook it up if it ever starts flowing good. We haven't had a rain to speak of to make it flow good enough since, I don't know, late June, early June I think we did, but since late June we haven't had enough rain to make the creeks flow anymore. It's crazy. It's really been dry here. I mean, it's kind of an awkward thing to say. It's not exactly dry because it keeps raining, but it's just little squirts here and there, and it's kind of kept the soil moist in a way, but it's just not enough to ever run off. So, I mean, in one way, it's kind of really good, but in another way, I wish it would just go ahead and rain so we'd get some water in the creeks again and the springs would flow good and all that. Anyway, that's about all I've got. Let's see, what else have we got going on here? Ronald Todd says, Jerry, if you get the chance, watch the video by Rick Beto dealing with tinnitus in musicians. I'll write that down. I'll see what I can find on that. Okay, I'll try to do that. Thank you. David Sutter, Jerry, if you've never played in a band situation, you wouldn't realize how important it is. Somebody always wanting to speed up or slow down can be very frustrating. Oh yeah, true. I've played in bands, well, since the 80s. That's when I first started playing music, was in the 80s, early 80s. And I've pretty much been in a band since then, in my own band since 91, I think. And yeah, speeding up and slowing down is a bad thing. In a band situation, it helps temper that a lot. When you're at a regular jam, a lot of times it'll get out of hand. But in the band, you typically can hold it together. But it can speed up too. We've done it. Let's see. Will's Check says, Jerry, I thought you made a splitter for the mini excavator. Yes, I did, but I haven't been able to get it to hold together in the design that I built. I really thought I could make it strong enough, but I haven't been able to make it strong enough yet. The plunger or the blade keeps breaking off. I was trying to make one that's a double acting one that'll split this way and it'll split this way, so that, because it's a small unit and I wanted to make best of it. If I went ahead and, if I went back to the drawing board, I'm sure I could make one for sure that would just split in one direction. But to be honest with you, that little mini, I doubt would handle these big logs. I don't think it would split them. I mean, possibly, maybe, but yeah. So anyway, that hasn't panned out yet. I wanted it to, but for whatever reason, I tried to reinforce it and but it by the pressure it has and the angle of that double acting thing is the problem. And it's hard to explain, but let's see. Ben Boyd, regarding the Bobcat's unconnected wire, can you determine when it's supposed to connect, judging by what's not functioning correctly? Well, that's my point. The quick attach has quit working, and that's what I think it goes to, but I can't find where it connects. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. See, let me back up the truck and explain. What happened was I had an oil leak, so I took the track off and the side panel off, and then cleaned out like 4 or 5 gallons worth of muddy and greasy mud and stuff inside the Bobcat down low. And when I did, that wire and that plug was part of that. And I'm thinking, this thing looks like it was plugged in, because it was the plug itself was partially clean. You know, it was muddy, but some of it was clean. So you think, well, that should have been plugged in. Otherwise, the whole thing would have just been coated in grease and mud, you know. So that's why I think. And then when I put it all back together and I got in it, the arms wouldn't work. The thing that closes to grab the bucket, you know, and open up to get the bucket off, that wouldn't work anymore. It's called the quick Bobtac is what it's called. Bobtach. That's what they call it. I don't know why they call it that. That's what they call it. But anyway, that wouldn't work anymore. So I have a feeling that's so that's why I took it all back apart again, tried to find where those wires connect. And I tried to find it when I found it the first time, and I couldn't find it, but I didn't have a big enough mirror to get in there. So I got a big mirror and looked in there, and there's nothing in there that it can plug into in that area. And based on what Grok tells me, it goes to the back somewhere, back by the transmission. And it's long enough to go back there, so I suppose it does. But can't find it. So I don't know. I have no idea. Like I tell you guys, trust me, if it was simple, it'd already be fixed. It ain't simple. So anybody who wants to come here and that's a Bobcat expert and knows where that goes and wants to come here and show me, I'm all for it. Let's see. Benita says 13 below zero right now in Wisconsin. The thing about that is we will not have the ice problem. Oh, okay. So you're not expecting the ice that's coming, because there's places where they are expecting major ice storms. I don't think we're in that. I think that's going just below us and to the east of us is where I did see something last night on that. Something popped up in my feed, and I clicked on it because of all the hype about it. And it looks like that the ice storm is going to go below us, but we're supposed to be according to that thing that I saw last night, we're supposed to be in the snow area. But otherwise, I don't check the weather. I never do. I just don't give a rip. Zach Rex says, count your blessings, Jerry. You can still hear and play music even with the crickets. Your listeners applaud you. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's that could be changing if it keeps getting louder. But right now it's tolerable. It's very annoying, but it's tolerable. GMP Old Marine Shop. Jerry, hi. Could the wire on the Bobcat be for the overhead lights? Well, I mean, I guess it could. You can kind of tell where it went. It was aimed toward the back of the machine, and I don't think it goes to lights. I'm pretty sure it goes to this Bobtac thing because that doesn't work anymore. And I've monkeyed with it and tried everything. I've checked all the fuses and electric, and I put a brand new plug on that Bobtac. And as soon as I put the brand new plug on it, it starts working. It was working great. Then I went looking for that oil leak, and then I tore up all that down there and probably unplugged that. And it doesn't seem to work. According to Grok, it goes to something to do with a solenoid for the hydraulic pump-like thing. There's a solenoid that would send that signal back up to that hydraulics in the front that locks the bucket on and off. But according to Grok, it goes to the back, and it's long enough to go to the back, so I figure it probably does. I just can't find it. I've looked everywhere, though. I've looked in the front. I've looked on both sides. I mean, it looks like it only goes down the left side, or what would be the driver's side if it was a car. So it looks like it stays on the left side, and even the wire ties that are up there above it go that way. And I've tried to trace the other end of it to see where it goes, because I figure it would probably go to the Bobtac. But guess what? No sooner than it gets up out of that area, it goes straight into a big wiring harness, a great big bunch of wires, and it just comes out of that. So you can't tell where that goes. It could go anywhere. So And like I said, I traced the wiring diagram down. That's of no help to me at all. I mean, I can follow the wire all the way around on 3 different pages. That's how big it is. And that didn't help me because it still doesn't tell me anything, because that's just white wires on white paper with black wires running across it. And that don't do me no good at all, because it don't tell you, specifically where the thing is located that it connects to. And that's what I need to know, is where it's actually physically at. Let's see. David Tharp says, I just looked at my radar and it's going down in Dallas. It's rain, not snow or ice. Ben Boyd, can you just run new wires to the switch bypass? Well, the problem is I can't get to the place that it needs to go to. Sure, I could run new wires. That wouldn't be a problem. But I don't know where they connect. That's the problem. David Tharp, 122 watching and only 55 likes. What's that all about? Yeah, if you would, click it. I'm glad to hear there's 122 watching. I wish it would show me that on here. That's weird. I'm going to have to see if I can. There's probably an app or an add-on I can get to put it on this thing. The old one just showed it right on the screen with it, so I don't know. Let's see. Bo Horn says, ice is supposed to come my way in northern Louisiana. Not looking forward to it. No, that's not ever good. Terry Bake, you need a wiring diagram. Try various AIs to see. Like I said several times, I think I have a wiring diagram. It's 3 pages long, and I followed the wires all the way through all 3 pages. That don't help me. I need to know physically where it plugs in. So I don't know. It's weird. And also, it just shows connectors and things. It don't say what those wires are going to, in my opinion. At least I'm not a good reader, so there's where the downfall can be. I may have missed what it actually says, but I followed the wires that I believe it is. But from the Bobcat, where it says Bobcat, and I've followed it back, and I can't tell anything about it after that. I just followed those wires. Daryl Blanchard, there might have been a pressure or temperature sensor on the trans that was removed and plug put there. Well, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I still think there's a problem. The Bobcat's not working. Those arms are not opening and closing, and they have to, or I can't put a bucket on or anything else. And it's very suspicious that this is the only wire that I can find that's unplugged. So it must go to that. I just can't find where it plugs into. I don't know how I can say that differently, but it's gotta be something like that. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I just want to be clear. It's very possible that this doesn't go to the Bobcat. It's possible. But I haven't found anything else that's broke. That's the only thing I found that's broke. So that's why I suspicion that's what it is. So I don't know. Ronald Todd says, I have 131 watching. Well, that's cool. I like your number better. Let's see. Chipwood says, any inspection plates under the belly? No. Boy, the belly's pretty solid. There's 2 holes about that big, but that won't do nothing for you. Trust me on this thing. I think that's just for water to drain out, I guess. Diane Craver, GM wiring diagrams usually give locations for splices and connector locations. Well, I don't know. I'm going to go back. I think the best idea I heard today was just to get the manual and go back into it. I mean, there's a chance that if I get in there and look around more, and maybe do searches on Bobcat, maybe I'll find some clue that'll help me. Maybe it'll show a picture of those solenoids or something like that. That's probably the best clue I've heard here today. If I could just see what they look like, and then I'd know, if I found it, and then maybe I could search around there and find a plug, But right now, you got to understand, this is tighter than a bull's rear end at fly time. I mean, there's no room in there. You know, you can't even get your hand down in there in most places. You can't get your hand in there. It's that tight. And so getting your head down in there and trying to get a mirror down, you can't even get a large mirror that would help you see something. You can't even get a mirror down in there. It's not easy. Like I said, if it was easy, it'd already be fixed. I guarantee you, 100% guarantee it. It ain't easy. That's the one thing you can take to the bank. I don't know. It's aggravating. Let's see. Neely, yeah, he says, sounds like the motor has to come out. And there's a very, very, very good chance that that's the case. Not only for this plug, but to find the oil leak that keeps driving me crazy too. And I still haven't found that either. There's no room to get in there and look. That's the problem. And even if I find it, can I fix it? That's the next question. And the same way with this plug. Even if I accidentally see the darn thing, can I get in there and plug it back in? Of course, I'll devise something that'll make that happen. I'll make a long wire or something, or a hook or something. I'll get that done if I can first see where it goes. But I just can't find it. You'd think that would be easy. I mean, especially with the wire, and it's got a certain length, so it can only go to certain places. I've looked for hours. I mean, I know I've spent at least a full 3 hours looking, and I haven't seen it yet. What model is the Bobcat? It is a T300. A T300. Michael Love says, can you put a tester on the wire and then hit the button to see if it has power when activated? Well, I haven't done that specifically. I tried to do something like that. I put a meter on it, and turned and checked the voltage and turned the key on, had the engine running, tried pressing the button, tried different things, and I never saw anything happen. But I don't know if it would, I just don't know. So, and I don't know, it's not easy to get I wasn't even sure I was always making good connection either, because the connectors are back in the hole quite a ways, and so and they're small, it's not like even my probes wouldn't really go down in the hole very good. So I wasn't 100% sure I was making good connection. As I said, if it was easy, it would be. If it was easy, it'd be easy, and it ain't. That's all I can tell you. How far is the wire in from the solenoid? Well, that I have no idea, because I don't know where the solenoid is. That's what I'm looking for. If I could find it, I'd plug it in. Let's see. Richard Herbranson says, can you do a continuity test between the loose connector and the switch for, that's basically what I did that too. I had the continuity, where it beeps, I checked all the fuses that way and stuff, and I was checking on that to see if there was continuity on that, but I couldn't find anything that made any sense. Nothing made any sense so far. And even if it does, it doesn't tell me too much, other than if I could prove that it for sure goes back to the Bobcat, that would be nice to know. At least then I would know that I'm fixing the problem that's broken on the Bobcat. But I haven't been able to prove that one way or the other yet. Yeah, he says that would prove it. There's been a bucket disconnect. Yeah, maybe if I could. Yeah, I'd probably have to have Sue come out and help with that. I'm doing it by myself. I haven't been able to make it happen yet. GMPO Marine Shop, try putting 12 volts to the plug and maybe something will happen. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I just wish I could find where it plugs in. That's all I need to know. If I could just find the little socket with the 2 wires on it and plug this thing in, that's all I need to find. I just can't find it. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to be it for now. And I don't even think I'm going to go down there and look at the thing because I'm just aggravated. Give it a rest for a while. And maybe tomorrow I'll tackle it again and see if I can figure it out. Like this afternoon, I think I'll spend a lot of time on that manual because, like I said, it's 800 to 900 pages. That's how, I mean, it's a big, thick manual. So I'm going to spend a lot of time on that and see if I can find any other clues. But right now, I don't have any clues. Y'all take care. We'll see you Monday, if not before.